place where the film is sands. We got quality splits from Herman Hulse, my friend. No more settling for less, we demand the best. The grinders are here, we won't settle for less. Booty can keep the same finger at the door. We're leaving the past behind, we won't settle no more. Behind the frosty glass, we grind and we shine. Quality games on the rise, it's our time to shine. Behind the glass, we rise up and stand tall. No room for mediocrity, we won't fall. The grinders are here, we got what it takes. Quality games and success, no more mistakes. You wanna join the grind, get ready for the rush. We got the game and news and we got the music crush. Gaming grindhouse, we're taking it to the top. Put on your headphones, let the beat drop.
Stop! Enough!
It's where dreams come true. Become a gaming grinder, since father never miss a beat. We'll take you on a ride to a gaming retreat. Unlock your high score, join the elite. Gaming grindhouse, where the ultimate fear. Gaming grindhouse, where the ultimate
gaming.
Yo, grinders! Got the reverb still on. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Yeah, this is the grindhouse is open, so hit that like button, share it out. We were like, let's go. Shout out to everybody coming on India Gaming Grinders. Coming on in. Oh yeah, you see the title. You see the gaming. You see that title. Nick says that port is ready. Yeah, so remember if checked out the show on Monday, we had talked about the Starfield updates, and they're going to be they called them display updates coming to Xbox, and today they announced what they are. So yeah, they did announce today what they are. So come on in, sit by the warm fire. Let me see if I have it right here. Oh yeah, there we go. Is this the link? Here it is. So here we go. Coming on in. What's up, Nick? Yeah, boy. How you doing? Compost Smurf, Ice Queen Gaming, Ryan, RPG88. What's up, Maniolis? Yeah, how you doing? Jabroni, Cosmic Hero. What's up, Dan S? Michael Meridian, how you doing? Hood Rich. Diablo Dark Matter. What's up? He says he's dead already. Oh my goodness. M Gene, how you doing? Coming on in here. Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. I got the lineup. Dude, and I'm telling you, it doesn't end. Like, I was like, I gotta cut it off because I was just searching and I'm like, this just goes into oblivion. Pun on the word, yes, oblivion. Exactly. It just goes into oblivion with this. So, without further ado, let's get right into the nitty-gritty of this. Hit that like button. Again, grinders, welcome here. Just as a reminder, I did send out some community posts, then I see what you like. So, yeah, definitely keep it locked here. We're probably going to do a members only, VIPs, Ultimate Grinders. We'll do a Ask the Grindhouse show. So, that will be coming your way. I'll do something like that for you, all the special members of the channel, because I want to thank everybody for their support. And we're going to be getting a new emoji as well. So if you're not a member yet, hit that subscribe button or hit that join button. And also, or if you want to get Ultimate Grinders so you can get Grinds Pass and listen to all the music that's been on the show day one with music videos and more to come, upgrade to Ultimate Grinder. Now, without further ado, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. Here we go. So they announced a bunch of updates coming to Starfield this week. This is not the DLC update that's coming out. That has not happened yet. That is expected to be around the fall. And now we're getting this update that's coming out here with the display updates. Yeah. And, the big one that really came out was the performance modes targeting 60 FPS, VRR displays, unlocked possible frame rate on the Series X only. Booster is left in the dirt. Series X only. Finally, display updates coming to that. And here is their video right here.
If they choose to prioritize performance.
This is what it's going to look like. They had a wonderful interaction, and here we go.
A lot as it is.
We're focusing now on our Xbox Series X players with this update. We're giving them some settings where they can help prioritize between performance or visual. If they choose to prioritize performance, the target FPS will move to 60. And for players that have TVs that support VRR, they'll be able to choose between VRR 40 or VRR 60.
In addition to the new features,
A lot as it is.
We're focusing now on our Xbox Series X players with this update. We're giving them some settings where they can help prioritize.
We're going to pause it right here.
We're giving
Hold
performance
on.
or visual.
So here we go. So you can see frame rate targets. Now listen, this is not locked 60. This is not locked 45. This is a target of 60. And you look at the prioritized performance. It says here, visuals, prioritizes visuals, keeps highest resolution, maintain full detail, not suggested for frame rate target of 60 or above. Then performance, it says prioritizes performance by lowering internal resolution and detail for special effects, lighting, and crowds. Uh-oh.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Uh-oh.
We don't care.
Crowds. Those cities, they're going to look like a bomb went off in them. That's what they're going to look like. You see the cities on Starfield, they're going to look like there's nobody around. Everybody's in their house sleeping. We'll see. And then it says, should be used when selecting frame rate target of 60 or above. Oh, damn, they're going above. And look at the little asterisk here. Performance setting is intended for variable refresh rate displays. So those that have targeting, if you do not have VRR, I'm expecting if you put this in performance mode, you may get screen tearing. That's basically what it is, because the frame rate is basically unlocked, targeting 60, and is going to flutter. So we'll see. The worst problem with Starfield with its hitches, I remember, is in the cities. What's up, Zuby? How you doing, man? Yeah, it's not locked 40 or 60. It's basically an unlocked frame rate targeting 60, and that's why they recommend it for VRR displays, because if you have it locked at 60 and you have a 60 hertz display without the variable refresh rate, you will most likely get screen tearing in some aspects of it, because that's what VRR eliminates. It's a variable refresh rate. It's not locked at 60. So if you have a locked 60 display, most likely you're going to get it. But finally, higher frame rate options are available only on the Series X. Now that's a key point, Grinders. Only on the Series X. What about Booster? That's why I probably should have named it. What about boosters? Well, nobody cares about Booster. This is for his Series. He said it. This update is for our Series X.
It is.
We're focusing now on our Xbox Series X players with this update. We're giving them some...
Finally. Right, Aaron? Aaron's happy. Finally, they care about Aaron. Aaron, they care about you. Finally. They mentioned Series X. Finally. The premium console. The most important console. The core...
about console is it's your highest value gamer. It's your person who plays the most, they buy the most. But the thing that's also important is that customer...
It's Philness.
Philness.
So, now that we got this, yeah, we don't know. Zuby, shout out to Zuby, man. Zuby shared this with me. Before it was like he shared the article with me, the video, and I was watching it, and then he says that, yeah, and I told him, I was like, I can't wait for them to test this out, because that's going to be like, I want to see what this is. And alluding to Cosmic Heroes super chat here, he goes, watch this update break the game and frame second be all over the place. By the way, you left the super chat earlier, just let you know, not to be rude. Oh, thanks, man. Sorry about that. And then, oh, where is that? Hold on. I got to get into my filter. Thank you. I didn't see it when I was back there. Oh, there it is. Gotcha. Yeah, Cosmic Hero, no problem. Hey, man, anytime. I had to hit the filter on that stuff. Cosmic Hero, then he goes, media wants to lie and cry about Final Fantasy VII and Rise of the Ronin sales. And yes, that came out too with that MPD, but we won't cover that in this one. But I will cover that as well. And exclusivity are blind as goddamn bat when it comes to Xbox and their excuses. Play that circus music for these clowns. Oh, man, you're going to hear that circus music. Don't worry. We're going to get it soon. It's coming your way, Cosmic Hero. Thank you again, man. Yeah, it is coming your way. Please. Because, yeah, the sales. I got a whole thing with the sales. That's going to be another Gaming Bright for another, because, again, it's the excuses. And that's the thing that I want to focus on, because we're just saying what happened today is that they are able now to do this, right? So they're able now to have an unlocked frame rate, and they're able now to have higher frame rates only on the Series X. But if you recall, last year, at the same time, Redfall was raked against the coals for launching at 30 frames. They then provided an update in October to make it 60 frames. Where's the DLC for Redfall, Kevin? I don't know. Ask Aaron, he knows. True Virgil knows. True Virgil's holding on to that information. He told us to wait to E3. But last year, it was destroyed. And in October, 60 frames. Not at launch at 30 frames. It got raked through the coals. Then, when Starfield because if you remember, the Phil who took it on the chin moment, he didn't say, he's like, will you be clear on what Starfield's frame rate is going to be? And Phil's like, yes, we will be ahead of that. We'll let you know. And then they confirmed during the Starfield Direct that it will be 30 frames per second. And then Todd Howard went on his little interview with IGN and explained it at 30 frames a second. Design choice. Oh, man, you're going to see a lot of that. So that's just to kind of paint the picture of how it was. And remember, I was playing Starfield, and I'm sure everybody was, at 60 frames or whatever frame rate on your PC. Even they were able to get Starfield running at 60 frames on the Asus Ally, the ROG Ally. But the consoles, nope. The booster, no. Series X, booster's cousin, no. And we said it. It was like, but wait. We know the Series X is probably capable of doing this. Why are they restricting it on the X? And we had even the Baldur's Gate issue. They couldn't get split screen to run. That booster is holding things back. It is. Boosters. Nobody wants to admit it. What about scalability? Remember, they make the games to scale. No, I think the developers said it from day one about the Series S. It was if the X is 2 steps forward, the Series X is a yard back. That's the issue, the S. And now we're seeing some separation. The X now gets its due. And as an X owner, you should be happy. Because this is what needs to happen. Because I think they're missing out because of that. But we'll get into that. But the main thing is, exactly, Zuby. This proves. And I got the punchline. Don't worry, Zuby. We got the punchline. Stay tuned. But the thing is when it shipped at 30, everybody was fine with it. The media specifically. They didn't give Starfield the amount of criticism for launching at 30 on consoles that they gave Redfall. Redfall was thrown in the mud. Horrible. Arcane don't miss. And Arcane's a more polished studio, I would say, than Bethesda. Arcane don't miss. Well, they missed. Bethesda was coming out with like, oh, there's gonna be tons of bugs. I remember our good friend over there with his name. Where is he? Where's my good friend? There he is.
Mr. Yellow chair.
trying to say, well, it's going to ship with bugs. If they're not game breaking, it's okay. It has to be 11 out of 10. But the bugs, as long as they're not the excuses for Starfield, because they knew that Starfield was what, Sarah Bond? The most important title. $7 billion later, it was their most important exclusive. Sarah Bond said. So now we come to the launch of this, and what? The charm. That's right, Maniolos. The charm, they said. It was the charm. It's part of the Bethesda. Well, now that we know the X is getting this mode, right? Let's see why was the media not questioning this, right? That's what you have to ask, Grinders. Like, why wasn't the media going, well, wait a second. It's 60 frames on console. It's 60 frames. Why is it not 60 frames? It's 60 frames on PC, I mean. Why is it not 60 frames on console? But instead of asking that question, the circus was in town, apparently. And the media must have got the extra early access. Some ball washing was going on. Something was happening. Because the amount of excuses and explanations for why Starfield was 30 frames per second are infinite. It didn't stop. The media capped for Starfield on console because they did not want to throw it into the mud of Redfall or save Xbox. This game was supposed to do. This was the turning point. And as we said, it was a decent game, but it didn't do what it needed to do. And while everybody was unfortunately was focusing on frame rate, it was such a deflection to the real issue as loading. Oh, man. Oh, not loading screens.
Stop. Enough.
That's why half the reactions were like, what are all these loading screens? Everybody was talking about 30 frames. Instead of, nobody was talking about, they'll cap it for 30 frames, thinking like, guys, if it doesn't come out, well, it was such a scam because they were like, hey, if it doesn't come out with bugs, all right, there are going to be some bugs, but if they're not that bad, we're okay with 30. Let's squash the 30 nonsense. And if it comes out decent, it will be great. The capping for this game was insane. And not from the fans. True Virgin, not from you goggling. Not from Aaron. Not from True. The fans were fine. It wasn't the fans. It was the media who fed into all this. The people that we call journalists, analysts, technologists, who get paid to write lies and bullshit opinions. Those are the people that we need to stop. Not the fans. Not the True Virgils or the Aarons. It's not you. The media. It's clouding your judgment. That's why True Virgil stays where he stays. Because he needs the clarity of the Herman Holtz balls to open his eyes. That's why he has a home here at the Gaming Grindhouse. Right under Herman's nuts. Hopefully one day his eyes will be cleared and you'll see the light. But not right now. So anyway, back to the story. The media. And of all of them, let's start with, there's going to be a lot of evidence here. You can see the tabs. Hit that like button as we go on this journey. The journey of the circus. It's back in town, ladies and gentlemen. The circus is back in town. Come one, come all. Look at the bearded lady, the jugglers, the lions, the elephants, and the man who spits fire, and also bullshit. Digital Foundry, here we go. They didn't seem dumbfounded this time. They seem to know excuses. They weren't sitting here going, I wonder why it's 30 frames. Oh, no. They came up with their own excuses. The elephant in the room. There you go. The circus is in town. Told you. The elephant in the room, which wasn't actually discussed on the show. Todd Howard. Tell me lies. Tell me sweet little lies, Todd. He says, Todd Howard. He goes, the game will run locked at 30 for consistency, but with the 4K output resolution on Series X and 1440p on Series S, it's not unusual that to see the Series X releases runs at 4K 30, but it's slightly rarer that no option for a lower resolution target, perhaps reduced settings to hit the 60 frames per second. So why doesn't Starfield have this option? I don't know. Why didn't you ask Todd Howard? Or Phil Spencer, the guy who likes to do interviews? But instead of asking them and explaining why isn't this an option, they answer it for you. The capping begins. Here it comes. Here it comes. The answer is more nuanced than you might expect. John puts forward an argument that a frame rate target is a design decision after all. Even consoles in the 80s. Oh shit, we're going back to the 80s. Oh man, we're going back to the 80s now.
Prepare ship! Prepare ship for ludicrous speed!
We're going back in time.
All seatbelts!
We're going back to the 80s. Back to the 80s. Back to the 80s.
Secure all animals in the zoo!
We're going back to the 80s. Even consoles in the 80s couldn't hit 60 frames per second. I did a real life head slap.
Hold on.
Okay.
Holy Spirit.
I'm doing my own
activate.
effects.
Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate.
Consoles in the 80s couldn't hit 60 frames. Dude, tell me who had a 60 frames TV? Were you using your antennas and your rabbit ears and getting 60 frame TV shows? Who the hell had a 60 hertz TV in the 80s? I don't know. Were they 120 VRR refresh rate TVs in the 80s that I missed in black and white? Well, apparently, consoles in the 80s couldn't hit 60 frames. This is John from Digital Foundry. Nick. They were always 60 hertz. There's always... I'm going to do my own effects. It'd be smacking my head. 50 hertz in the 80s. Oh, there were 50 hertz in the 80s. Oh, damn. But anyway, I'm sure Digital Foundry was back then in the 80s hooking up NES games to their computers and zooming in at 400% on Mario's ass. You go, look at the square of this pixel. That ass is super sharp. 30 frames per second on the pixel of Mario's ass. That's Digital Foundry in the 80s. The hell? What the hell is he talking about here? But wait, the excuse to make an excuse for Starfield not hitting 60 frames on the console, we got to go back to the 80s. In Europe, exactly, towards the thing if you had PAL. Oh, damn. In the US, we had NTSC. That's right. But the consoles in the 80s. So blame the 80s for us not getting 60 frames in Starfield today. In 2023. But clearly, many developers have opted for 60 frames per second experiences. Instead, in the decades since. Oh, no, not like this. In the decades since the 80s. Oh, not like this. NTSC was 60 hertz. I know, everybody was going crazy in the 60s, in the 80s. We won't go back to the 60s. Mario couldn't hit 60 frames, so that's why Starfield can't do that. Oh, man. So, since the decades, this is a little history lesson. Since the 80s, developers have decided that 30 frames per second is opted for that instead. Not to mention that we came off pro consoles and the Series X and we're doing 60 frames and performance modes and all that other stuff. But he's talking about the decades since the 80s. Not to mention like 4 years ago when we're doing performance modes and everything. Okay, fine. You're not entertained. You're on him. I know the grinders are rolling right now. Wait, do you think this is bad? Wait, great. I said I got a cup of coffee here. If it was you fellows across the room, go get a cup of tea because you're gonna need some tea for this. The goddamn tea time with the grindhouse. Holy crap! Get those crumpets. Let me get some biscuits. It goes on. So the question is, what frame rate allows you to hit design goals for the game? In the case of Starfield, it's clear that an open world or even an open universe with item permanence. Oh shit, here we go. Sandwiches. Get ready. Subway. The item, wait a second. Here we go. In Starfield, the item permanence, that means the sandwiches, the AI, the people getting stuck on walls and all, the incredible AI that they got, simulations, and a lot of interlocking systems to create an immersive experience. With all of those CPU demands of this sort of this game entails, dropping the resolution might not have much an effect on the overall frame rate. As a developer, you may well crank up the visuals and embrace 30 frames for an overall consistent output, knowing as well that PC release ought to run at 60 for these that need higher frame rates and have machines capable of delivering it. Let's hear it.
Hey everyone, welcome to...
There we go.
And I think, John, we should start with the big elephant in the room, and which came out and was not actually as a part of the direct.
First off, when there are glitches, when there's bad frame rate, we just talked about it on Monday. Digital Foundry is dumbfounded. It's running better on a PS5. It's got to be a bug. It's got to be a glitch. I don't know. I'm so dumbfounded. They're so confused. Why is the PlayStation running this better? Why is it 120 frames? Well, I'm flabbergasted. They have no excuse for that. But all of a sudden, they got explanations why Starfield is 30 frames per second on consoles. Oh, we got answers now. Now we got answers. Now we got explanations. But you can't just say the PlayStation is a better performing machine than the Xbox. No, you got to be dumbfounded. Call it a bug. There's no, you don't come up with storyboards there. But let's hear the storyboard you come up for Starfield.
And that was after the fact. Basically, the information came out that the game would be targeting 30 FPS on Xbox Series consoles, on Xbox Series X and Series S, and specifically the things were named of 30 FPS at 4K output on Xbox Series X and 30 FPS at 1440p output on Xbox Series S, John.
And I'd like to just let you know a little bit. It was done in a backhanded interview about this. If this was a design decision, if this was a commitment to they believe that this is what they wanted to enact, they should have had that frame rate up front and center on their show. But they didn't cover it in the 43 minutes of Starfield of what the performance of it is. No. They did it in a little interview on a blog with IGN and a little sideshow. That's where they talked about it. So if this was such a design decision, if this was what they wanted, why would they doing it in some kind of like, oh yeah, let's talk about it on the side, put it in a little text, hopefully nobody sees it, and then with an IGN interview in the back end. But no, you did 43 minutes of the game, and we don't talk about the performance options and the resolutions and the technical challenges and the technical achievement that this game is, right? That's where you go into that, the 43 minutes of just one game? No. We won't mention it there. We'll do a back-end alleyway interview with IGN, and I'll talk about it there. Okay. Design decision, my ass.
So what do you think about all that?
This created quite a conversation around it, a tempest in a teapot, if you will, regarding the frame rate and 30 frames per second. And it's something that's kind of been building up since, I would say, last year with, I think Gotham Knights sort of triggered this discussion again.
Wow.
When it was one of the first big new gen exclusive games, 30 frames per second only. And then we've seen several other games come with the same limitation. And I am unsurprised to discover that Starfield is the same. But we've also seen this discussion of like, well, DF, why is it okay for a game like Starfield to be 30 frames per second, but then another game you might cover, you would expect to be 60? And I think this is part of the conversation that's often lost. And it's somewhat of a nuanced topic because the frame rate of a game is I've always maintained, an actual design decision. Hardware going back to the 80s has no problem executing games at 60 frames per second.
Oh, goodness gracious. We don't need the speech. It sounds like he's reading his little speech there. He says exactly what I just read. Listen, I don't hear the words dumbfounded and flabbergasted from them. You played with magnets. You had the Series X in your hand, the most powerful console in the world, in the universe. How are you not scratching your head and your balls? Going, what the hell is going on here? You should be scratching with two hands. Going, excuse me, wait, this is the most powerful console in the world, the Series X. I'm flabbergasted. I'm dumbfounded. This is what is going... Instead, it's a design choice. Consoles in the 80s didn't hit 60. What? What are we doing here? The most powerful console in the universe. And we're talking about... Let me explain why it's not at 60 frames at launch. It is actually more nuanced. What? You should be falling out of your chair. Go, excuse me? What happened to... We're perplexed. We're dumbfounded. We need to find out to the bottom of this. You are technical analysts. And the technology carpet is not matching the technology drapes. If this is the most powerful console in the friggin' world, how the hell is it not running the same performance modes that are available on PCs? How? This is a first-party game built under the $7 billion umbrella of Microsoft. Phil went out there in his nice little meeting, sitting around in a nice circle, talking about how he supports, he's been playing Starfield. This is not no third-party stretch to the limits. This is a first-party game and first-party hardware, the most powerful console in the world. Where is that performance option? But let's not question that. Let's give excuses.
Right?
Why?
Like that's always been the case. It all comes down to what the developer's trying to do. Basically, the maximum frame rate they can achieve their vision with. Starfield is a very large scale, open universe game, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
Oh, what about the loading screens? You keep talking about this open universe. You know what? Open universe would sell it to me if this world, I could fly from the planet into space onto another planet seamlessly. It's rendering all that technology, all those assets. But when you're hampered by 3 loading screens just to get into that cockpit, how open is it? Or is it just segments that simulate an open environment? Because that's what Starfield turned out to be. It turned out to be loading segments. It wasn't a No Man's Sky. No, oops, you weren't allowed to say that. It wasn't a No Man's Sky. And the fact that it's open rendering, like, hey, that planet up there in space, that mountain that's rendered from this planet, I could see it over there. Let me fly to it. No. It was a photograph in space that you can never get close to the planet. You just keep flying to the planet and the planet doesn't move because the planet is a friggin' photograph. You had to load into the planet and then load to land and then load to get out of your vehicle and then load to get onto the planet. It's a bunch of loading screens, segments. So open world and all this open stuff that is, dude, it's not doing anything seamlessly. It's all loading segments. At least that's what it launched at. And it has been. I don't see loading updates. We've removed loading screens. I wish. And that loading exists everywhere. So instead of being perplexed and wondering why, the expectation of 4K 60 ignores the fact that most AAA games run at sub 4K, which then scaled up to 4K. Based on our pixel counting, Starfield, one scene featured an internal resolution of 1296. In that kind of a scenario, you would have much less latitude in reducing resolution. So what he's saying is you can't just reduce the resolution. Dude, I don't need excuses why it's not 60 frames or unlocked. Where is the performance mode on the most powerful console ever built? That's the question that should be asked. But it doesn't end here. The inverse. Starfield 30 frames per second is way overblown. High frame rate matters in competitive games that rely on pinpoint accurate reflexes. But Starfield is an offline single-player RPG with an emphasis on exploration and discovery. Also played in first person, by the way.
Sir, do we get the win this time?
Sure, it doesn't feature real-time combat. What are you talking about? There's real shooting. But it seems fluid enough even at 30 frames. Head slaps, everybody. That's right, mass produce. It doesn't feature real-time combat. Inverse. You must be a new member to the circus. And here he comes, Mr. Howard.
Gaming.
Here he comes. Todd Howard in that slideshow show. I think it comes at no surprise, given our previous games, what we go for, Howard told IGN. After the June 11th showcase, after it. Always these huge open world, fully dynamic, hyper detail, where anything can happen. And what we do to do that, it's 4K on the X and 1440p on the S. We do lock it at 30 because we want that fidelity. We want all that stuff. We don't want to sacrifice any of it.
Settings where they can help prioritize between performance or visual. If they choose to prioritize performance, the target FPS will move to 60. And for players that have TVs that support VRR, they'll be able to choose between VRR 40 or VRR 60.
Well, what happened? You want that fidelity. We want all that stuff. We don't want to sacrifice any of it. Quote. So it took 7 months for you to say, let's sacrifice it? Screw it. What are we doing here, right? Outside Gaming Night. Twisted Sin, do you believe this? They're getting ready for that PS5 port. You believe this is what he said. What happened? You want all of it. We don't want to sacrifice it. So what happened? It took 7 to 8 months. Now you're willing to sacrifice that fidelity that you capped for, that said we have to lock it because we don't want to lose any of it. Todd Howard said this. That's quoted from Todd Howard's IGN interview. We don't want to sacrifice any of it. What happened 7 to 8 months later? Is it because it dropped down to like 2,000 people playing online? What happened? And then look at this. Remember when they were trying to throw Zelda under the bus? Remember? Here it is. Starfield's gameplay doesn't need to run at 60 frames to be enjoyable. Just look at Zelda. What launched to critical acclaim was also a 30. Remember they were throwing Zelda in the same conversation as Starfield. Oh, Zelda runs at 30. It's fine. That's exactly what they're doing, JC, right? Starfield gunplay isn't the only mechanic. Players explore, fly ships, interact with NPCs, and navigate menus. Yo, I cannot hit this button more enough.
Hold on.
Are you kidding
Holy
me?
Spirit, activate.
Oh, no.
These are excuses.
Holy Spirit,
Are you kidding me?
Activate. Activate.
You could fly ships, interact with NPCs, and navigate menus? These situations don't require a high frame rate to work well? You could alien mind control to influence enemies? Essentially, 30 frames won't make or break a game's combat. Dude, you are flying, you're shooting people in first person. Look at the picture. Look at this. This don't even make sense, Inverse. You're showing first person action shooting, and then you go, Starfield is a single player offline experience, so high frame rate isn't as vital. In a photograph of first person shooting.
Hold on.
Okay.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh, no.
Holy Spirit,
no. Oh, no.
activate. Holy
What
Spirit,
are we
activate.
doing
Activate.
here? What the hell is going on? This is the friggin' Twilight Zone with the capping that went on for this friggin' game. Shit didn't even launch yet, and they're making excuses for it. Look at the article. It was written in June 13th. This article was written. The game didn't even come out yet on September 6th. And this son of a bitch telling me that doesn't matter. Do you see the capping? Oh. Here we go now. Here we go. Who's this one? Games Radar. Here we go. Starfield 30 frames explained by a big pile of sandwiches. Another June 13th article. The game wasn't even out yet, and people were capping for the 30 frames and making excuses. Do you see the bullshit? With all this capping, the game still didn't even do what it needed to do. Holy Spirit. Nobody played the friggin' game. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. June. Based on the 30, 40 minutes they saw of cutscenes, of cuts and slices. All these capping. All this bullshit. It's fine. Oh, the sandwich gag highlights why 60 frames would be tough to achieve on console. Are you kidding me? The media is a bunch of dog shit. This is no media. Who got paid? Anne-Marie? Joseph? All these clowns writing these articles? Are you kidding me? Do you see the capping? Do you see this stuff? This is ridiculous. June 13th, based off the 40 minutes that they shown of the Starfield in that little showcase, the damage control for 30 frames. Oh, it's fine. It's the sandwiches. Too much. And that's why all of them put their head in a hole when the game released, and it was all loading screens. All loading screens. And you see, they feed off of each other. He revealed that Starfield, she likes to go do piracy. I steal all the sandwiches and put them in my cargo. That's why Starfield... Mallory's thieving antics are not only hilarious, but also perfectly demonstrate why Starfield is locked to 30 frames on console. This was pointed out by Digital Foundry, who wrote, while it's used as a gag in the video, the sandwich pirate concept highlights one reason why 60 frames would be tough to achieve. Like prior Bethesda game titles, it seems that Starfield tracks the location and position of arbitrary items in the world. Given the scope, this stuff begins to add up.
Hold on.
Okay.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh, no.
Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate. Activate.
Grinders,
Activate.
over 250. How did we get to here then? How are they able to do this? The sandwiches.
Some settings where they can help We're focusing now on our Xbox Series X players with this update. We're giving them some settings where they can help prioritize between performance or visual. If they choose to prioritize performance, the target FPS will move to 60. And for players that have TVs that support VRR, they'll be able to choose between VRR.
But the sandwiches. But the sandwiches. The sandwiches. Did I miss something? The sandwiches. The damn sandwiches. What happened to the sandwiches? And the AI? What happened?
Means when I think about Xbox, I'm going to think about quality games. We have work to do there. We have.
What happened? When was this written? Oh, June 13th. Why not? But wait. Guess what, everybody? Phil and Todd and the most powerful console in the world, that's not the problem. It's you. You're the problem. Blame it on the consumer. Screen Rant decides to blame it on you, the Gaming Grindhouse. Starfield locked at 30 isn't the problem. You are. Mass Produce, you're the problem, they just said. Compost, you're the problem. Ice Queen, you're the problem, they said. You're the problem. Bethesda announced Starfield will be 30 frames. This has many people up in arms, but it's not as a big deal as it sounds. Grinders, do I need to do my Grinds Foundry? Twisted Sick, you're the problem. They just said it in the article. Twisted Sin, you're the problem. They just said it. Nick, you're the problem. Nick, you're the problem right there. They said Nick is the problem from the Gaming Grindhouse. I'm going to do a Grinds Foundry. Let's go zoom in. Ready? Here we come. I'm going to use my monocular. Holy crap. Look. Wow. Do we have a motif going on here? Did some press kits get sent out with a bunch of sandwiches in them? Another June 13th article saying you're the problem. You just watched 30 minutes of cuts and Todd Howard driving an Uber car. And everybody's an expert why this game shouldn't be 60 frames on the most powerful console. Kratos, you're the problem. They just said it right in the article. Line 5, Kratos 99, you're the problem. They just said it. There we go. They just said you're the problem. They said right here. You shouldn't take too much away from the experience. The news comes directly from Starfield. Todd Howard, who describes the game's performance across platforms ahead of the extended gameplay review. Howard explained that Starfield will run at 4K on the Series X. True Virgil, you are the problem. They know that. That one, we don't have to say that. We know that you are the problem. They are. That one. Especially in Redfall. I need an update, True Virgil. I'm looking to you, True Virgil. Where are the Redfall heroes? That's your assignment. Get back to me on when the DLC is coming out for Redfall. You get on it, True Virgil. That's your job. I give you homework. You want to get out from under Herman's nuts? Do your homework. Tell me when the DLC's coming out. Howard explained that Starfield will run at 4K on the Series X and 2K on the S, but locked at 30. PC players are able to run with their pants out any frame rate they want. And here we go. It's close enough to the standard cinematic rate of 24. But as hardware has gotten stronger and much has improved, many games are now offering higher frame rates, some at 120 frames. Then here we go. Starfield gameplay doesn't need 60 FPS from the person. We're talking about June 13th. Nobody has played the game, but they're telling you you don't need 60 frames. Do you see the media bias? Talk about Xbox tax. This is an asshole's tax. This is a dumbass people. June 13th, no one has played this friggin' game.
You're my number one customer.
And they're telling you you don't need 60 frames. And here's why. The sandwiches. The AI. The openness. That's right, Zuby. Nobody has played this game. This is June 13th. They finally showed the friggin' game. They finally showed it. On this, because remember, without that Bethesda Direct, we never seen shit of Starfield. We've seen just cinematics. And Todd Howard taking a dump in his studios. That's all we've seen. The 40 minutes was the first time we actually saw cut gameplay of the game. We saw a couple of first-person shooting, but we didn't see the game at the scale that needed to be shown. So after that show, here's all the capping. Nobody played it. Nobody. There was no E3 hands-on demos. Nobody played the friggin' game. Everybody wanted to get their early copy. Kazakiro, what's up? He goes, it doesn't matter how many frames the game runs at or how many people the media blame. The game ends still dog shit, and I ain't buying it, nor are others. Well, I think they realized that Todd Howard said he has to cut it now because now he didn't want to lose any of it. Now he wants to lose all of it to do sales. I think that the next interview we're going to see, to what Cosmic Hero is saying, the next interview that we're going to see, you're going to see Todd Howard standing there and know what's going to be behind him. The frosted glass. He's got the freeze like, guys, you know what's crazy? I released it. I went out for the holidays during Christmas. Todd Howard, I came back in January and I looked, and in Bethesda Studios, there's this new room. There's a new room here. Phil's like a little sign. He goes, enjoy the new room. He goes, what's this new room at Bethesda Studios? What the hell's this? Todd Howard was surprised. He's like, what's this new room here? It's the frosted glass room. He's like, what's behind the frosted glass, Phil? What's behind the frosted glass? And he's like, oh, I can't tell you. That's a secret. But that's a new room in Bethesda Studios. It's the frosted glass room. And he's like, what? What is this? What is in this frosted glass room?
In the frosted glass room. Oh!
What's behind there, Phil? Phil! I can't tell you. It's a new room. What's in that room, Phil? Oh, it's a new frosted glass. He's like, what's behind there? He's like, oh, no. There's only certain people that are allowed in that special frosted glass room over here at Bethesda. Todd Howard, your Uber driver ass, you stay out of that room. Booty's not allowed in there. There's some guy that I know, he does incredible splits. I can only see his silhouette from the frosted glass. He said, I can't even do it straight. You can just imagine when you see the frosted glass. I just see the silhouette of some strong man just doing a split. I just see the silhouette of a guy. I make myself freaking crack up. All you see behind that frosted glass is the silhouette of a man with no shirt on in a split. I don't know what's going on in there. There's something going on. All I know that what comes out of this frosted glass room, all of a sudden we're targeting 60 frames in Starfield. I don't know what goes on behind that glass. There's some guy in there doing a split, and it comes out and we're doing 60 frames on Starfield. Oh man. I just see a couple of white consoles in there and a guy doing a split, and we got 60 frames Starfield. Todd Howell's like, how did you do it? I don't even know. I gotta see what the frosted glass. I don't know. I was told by Stutter and Satya to put a frosted glass room in every one of our studios, and somebody goes in there. I don't know what goes on. But the stories are untold. I don't know what goes on in that frosted glass.
They improve on poor released Xbox games with physical version. DualSense features and better performance in the frosted glass room.
What's happening in that room? Todd!
Xbox Game Studios making PS5 version so bright from the minds of PS5.
Who's this guy kicking everybody in the hallways? What's going on? What's going on? Who's this guy doing splits?
And stories are told.
Who's that guy? Who's that anti-cartwheel guy that's telling people to stop doing cartwheels? What's going on? All I know is there's a guy in there. He does a split, and we got 60 frames coming to Starfield. I don't know what's going on, Todd. Oh, I couldn't even do a straight face, dude. I cracked myself up with this shit. Holy crap. I can just imagine it. Oh. The room is filled with Cuban cigar smoke and the smell of Herman quality. Yeah, boy, the front they smell the seaweed from his yacht. I don't know. There's the wet footprints going. There's wet footprints going into that room, and I smell like the ocean is in there. Yeah, Todd Allen's like, why is there a yacht parked in my space? Dude, you've been replaced. There's a yacht there. Why is there freaking Caribbean music and I smell tequila? What's going on in that room? I don't know. But the guy owns a yacht. He owns a yacht. The yacht's parked. The rooftop pool. The yacht is parked. Holy shit. I can just see it now, man. Oh, God. I don't know what happened. They said, give us Starfield. What's behind that frosted glass? He has no clue. He just sees the splits. He smells seaweed and the ocean and tequila. And he sees wet footprints going in. He's like, who's that guy? That's Herman coming from his yacht. He goes, holy shit. Holy shit, man. It's like, where is it? He's like, like, why is there? Excuse me, where's the? Why is there an ATV in my parking space? It's like, I don't know, Todd, but it looks like you've been replaced. There's an ATV in your parking space. 3 buttons undone. There he is. Who is this mystery guy in the frosted glass room? Who is this? 60. How did he get 60 frames in Starfield? How did it happen? Whose snorkel is this? What's this ATV doing here at Bethesda? I don't know. What are these buttons doing on the floor? They look like somebody went in there with half a shirt open. I don't know. I don't know whose buttons are these, but they're on the floor. Todd, they got 60 frames in Starfield. Customer. But I didn't want to lose any of it. I don't know. Something happened in that frosted glass room. Is there another one? Oh, what happened? Holy crap. What is this champagne cork doing on the floor of me outside this frosted glass room? They're cracking champagne. What's going on? There's a guy in a split with some champagne. What's going on? I don't know. Phil's like, I don't know what happened. They told me to put a frosted glass room in there, and all of a sudden, magic's happening. Oh, man, I can't. Oh, shit. Yeah, this shit writes itself. Like, it seems like exactly what happened. Like, we don't want to lose it. All these excuses. And then meanwhile, they put the frosted glass room up and they got 60 frames. Oh, man. What's going on? What happened with what's going on Twitter? Holy shit. Oh, man. What happened? What got canceled? Someone got canceled? What? Yo. Wow. Breaking news, grinders. Nelson Gaming. XCast is done. Holy crap.
Mr. Yellow Chair.
Dude, the Xbox brands podcasts. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Holy crap.
Oh, no!
Well,
We suck
breaking
again.
news, gaming grinders. Well, you got the gaming grind. That's not going anywhere, so hit that like button. The XCast is done. Well, they'll always be remembered for Phil taking it on the chin. He took it in the chin because he always takes it on the chin. And now Paul Tassi had to give his thing. Starfield graphics debate the shocking fact that games are different. All these excuses why Starfield sticking with 30 frames and let Starfield have more visual fidelity to work with and better capabilities for its vast planets. Do you see the excuses? We're back to excuses now. Let me get to the chats here. Maniola says, Jez, they were forced to make performance mode. You know why? Let the grinder answer why. Yeah, exactly. Why? Because the frosted glass room. In the frosted glass room. Paris knows. He mustn't. Zuby's like, yeah. Like, listen. Let me get True Witty. True Witty, thank you so much. He goes, what the fuck is the petition to keep Starfield? Exactly. Like, True Witty, do you believe, just to get back to the subject on point, do you believe the ridiculousness? You believe the excuses? Like, and again, let's zoom in. Let's see when this was written. Paul Tassi, let's see when. Well, here we go, grinders. June 14th. Why was there all this excuses and capping for Starfield being acceptable on the most powerful console at 30 frames? All in the same day or two, right? As soon as it was announced, articles went out going, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. See, and we'll get into Zuby. I'll get into that. We'll get into that because that just happened now. But do you see, just to come back to this, do you see, like, all of a sudden, all around June 13th, June 14th, like, it doesn't end. All these excuses. Nobody played the game, but they're saying it's fine. And they're giving excuses for how massive it is and how big. And I think that's why a lot of them got blindsided yet again. They capped for Halo Infinite. They're like, oh, it's great. Oh, my God, it's great. Halo Infinite, imagine what they're going to do. And then when Halo never did it, they came back and go, oh, we were wrong. Like, we trusted in 343. We thought they were going to do it. And then they did it again with Starfield. All this capping and making excuses why it doesn't have 30 frames when nobody played the game. And now what's your excuse with Hellblade? We're going to do Hellblade 2 design choice again? We're doing this again? When they added 60 frames to Redfall in October, and now they're adding uncapped targeting 60 frames performance modes on the Series X only. Remember, that's the first thing that I said. Series X only, right? Only on the Series X. Because that's going to bring, we cannot have a show of Phil Ness without the Phil Ness. And we come back to square one. Remember, I kept saying the Series X now has a performance mode. Why did it take so long? Why did it take so long? The game released in September. We are in May. Why did it take so long for them to do a performance VRR target mode on the Series X only? When it sounds like all the excuses were like, no, we don't want to lose any of that fidelity. We want all that fidelity. We want it all. This is a design decision. And all the capping. You mean that they've been working on this for this long? This didn't just happen. This didn't just happen in a month. This went from September to May for uncapped frame rates. Same thing with Redfall. It went from May, and in October, they launched the 60 frames mode on both consoles, mind you, X and S. Let's hear what Phil has to say about the 30 frames.
Right, that I'm excited about. As I think ahead, even
as
we get into 2025.
Here he goes. This is a little appendix
of
of the interview.
Games at the initiative. We've seen, I know just because they're there in Seattle, what's going on with State of Decay 3. Like, we've seen these things. So as I look ahead to the next 18 months in terms of what we're going to be able to show and deliver and do that kind of gameplay,
do
we
this
do that
year.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm cautiously confident, right?
Cautiously confident. Let's see. You think we'll see Fable this year?
That's kind of the bar now.
We'll see.
Is, look, let's show it. Let's let's show up with gameplay and let's
all right, Booty. Skip this part. Let's go.
When we show up.
When it comes to this year, Starfield.
Here we go.
The big thing. Today we confirmed it's 4K 30 on console. Do you guys feel like gamers got used to?
First off, 4K 30 on console. No, you mean 4K 30. See, why do we forget? There's two consoles. 4K 30 on the Series X and 1440p on the S. Why are you just saying 4K 30 on console? There's two consoles. All right. Yeah. So I don't know why it's not 4K 30 on everything. But anyway, let's hear what Phil has to say.
60 frames per second, and that's going to be a hard bargain to make with them, or do you guys feel confident that they're going to get it when they're playing it?
I've been playing Starfield since November.
All right, you don't go brag about
no,
it. Okay?
No, it's not a brag.
So this was done in June after their showcase. He's been playing it since November. So Phil knew about those loading screens. He didn't say fix this.
It is a little bit brag, but the and the gameplay's great. And at some point, not to get all geeky about it, but there's render time per frame, and teams can either want to go horizontal or go kind of deep on a frame, and I think it's a creative choice. We obviously have games that are running at 4K 60 on the platform. It's not a platform issue. It's a creative decision.
Halo 120.
Yeah, and I think I trust what BGS, the decisions they make, and I trust what I'm playing. And we handed the controller on a console to people here, and had them play. Done the same thing with Forza, and I don't ever want us to turn playing games into a math exercise. Yeah. That as players we say, hey, if the song doesn't have this number of tracks, or the game, and I'm not saying that 60 or resolution don't impact what you play, but I don't think we want that to turn into an Excel thing. Right. I think you want to give the creatives the tools to make the best decisions, and the game will be what it is. I think Starfield's going to be a great game, and I love the reception today, and I don't want to kind of force specs on every game before they start.
There you go. See ya, boy. Creative decision, creative choice. It's not a platform thing. So let me ask you this. If it's not a platform limitation and it's a design choice, why don't we bring this full circle? Let me ask the Grindhouse this. Then why is that performance mode not on Series S booster? If this was a creative decision, why? And it's not, you said, we have games playing 4K 60. It's not a limitation of our product. If that's the case, then why isn't the performance mode on the Series S and only on the Series X? And on top of that, why did it take so long to put a performance mode on the X when it didn't really matter, Phil? You do want to dictate. They have the tools. They have the stuff. Then why wasn't it there day one? If that's what they ultimately wanted to do, then why wasn't it there day one? Why did you make them go 7 months and now they put a performance mode? When you sound right here, there's no need for a performance mode. There's no need for it. This is the creative decision that they made. There it is. What happened? So the S is the only creative decision then? That's holding true? That's the real creative decision? But if it's not part of the platform challenges, right? That's what he says.
Don't impact what you play. And teams can either want to like go horizontal, or go kind of deep on a frame.
Go deep.
And I think it's a creative choice. We obviously have games that are running at 4K 60 on the platform. It's not a platform issue. It's
not a platform issue. It's not a platform issue. Then why isn't this performance mode on the S then? Why wasn't this performance mode there day one? Why did it take 7 months for them to unlock the frame rate and take that fidelity down? What did they decide on? Was it the frosted glass? What is it? What is it? Yeah. Too many cartwheels and scooters, right? What is it? Because it sounds a foot in the ground right here. He doesn't say, well, they may add performance modes later, or, right now, this is not what it is. This is what they were able to get out for this time, the truth. Instead, he's as foot in the ground round. No, this is what they wanted to do. This is what it is. It's not a limitation. There you go, Zuby in the house. They know the PS5 Pro is coming, and they know they have to drop the Series S to compete. Also, remain parity with Starfield PS5 version. Yeah, that is the only explanation, Zuby. Somebody said in the chat, what changed? Their strategy changed. I think they started making a Starfield PS5 port. That will be the only explanation why would they do this now, and why would they not put it on the S? I don't know. Yeah, but Aaron, New Game Plus, though, yeah, I agree. The New Game Plus not there at day one. That is bullshit. But again, New Game Plus, though, a New Game Plus is there when you finish the game. Performance modes should be there on day one, right? Right? Like I agree. Like, I agree. New Game Plus, like that whole, and I know Stellar Blade was going to run to that too, and they actually rolled out saying that they were going to have one, the New Game Plus. But I agree. I think that was far-fetched. Spider-Man should have had that. But, that's sort of like day one. You got to finish the game first, and if it's a 15, 12-hour game, okay, fine. Well, that has to be at day one. But you're talking about, but if you listen to all the stuff that they're saying, they sounded like this is what their vision was for the game. This is what it was. And Phil says it wasn't a limitation of the console. And I've said it here. I knew the X was capable of 60 frames. I knew it. Exactly, Jack. Performance mode day one. Like, who wants to play the game in fidelity mode? Look at all the bullshit that we would get. It was all PR. But look at all the bullshit that we got with Final Fantasy. That performance mode was not good. Like, it was so blurry. But they fixed it within a few weeks to get that shit out there. So, like, waiting 7 months for a performance mode after you just went on this PR tirade going, this is the vision, this is what we can do, I don't want to lose that fidelity. And then all that capping from the media when they didn't even play the game, all going around like 30 frames is a you problem. Listen, I'm not no friggin' like the 30 frames or I don't play the game. Like, I'm just looking at how the media and PR damage controlled this thing. And I really think it was to protect the Series S. Also, I feel both with Redfall and Starfield, I think having this game everywhere. Now, this is a perfect example of just put your games everywhere day one, right? Put your games everywhere day one. If you look, when Starfield launched, it didn't have the proper full screen on PC. I know I had the issue with it when I wanted to play in a lower resolution to get higher frame rates, but I couldn't make it full screen. And I think there was an update that came out like a month or a few weeks later that allowed you to do it. But like, I think there was also field of view. I know that they were limiting things on Starfield for PC. Then you look on console and it didn't have a performance mode on the X. So when you're looking at this, it's like, what is the benefit of putting this game out everywhere day one when it's not meeting the expectations of the consumers on those platforms? That's always been my problem with this day one everywhere. I don't care if more people play the game. That's great. But if you're compromising the experiences to make the game available everywhere, that's where I have a problem. Because you're not doing anybody any favors. The PC dudes are sitting here like me, wanting to play the game and have the experience that you're supposed to get from PC. All the toggles and all, they didn't have half of that stuff. Like, it was very limited what you can do on PC. All the sliders, it was like on, off. There was not very much. And not very optimized. You could see, go look at the reviews on Steam about optimization, how Starfield launched. Go look at them. They're unfavorable. It wasn't optimized. It wasn't done well. Then you have your console. Series X, the most powerful console in the world. With the biggest exclusive, most important game of the generation. That Series X should have had a performance mode and a fidelity mode. S, you put a $300 console, you don't get performance modes. That comes with the $300 price point. The $500 price point gets both of those options. Why is that an issue? And I think the same thing is happening right now to Hellblade 2. I think Hellblade 2 probably can at least hit a 45 uncapped or VRR type thing on the X. Just do it. Why are you holding the Series X back? And because all you're doing is hurting that whole that console. And like I said before, you say console sales don't matter. Console sales are essential to the Xbox because we saw, and this will get into my next show that I'm going to do, but you see, if that install base shrinks up, and I alluded to this before, if that install base shrinks up, people are just going to find cost-saving measures and just not making an Xbox game. That affects the whole ecosystem because there goes your cloud and there goes your console. They could just put it on Steam and be fine. They don't need Xbox. That console is your heartbeat, and you abandon that thing, and that thing is just fizzing out. I agree. I can't wait for Hellblade 2 anyway. I'm going to play it. A PC is the best place to play it. But when it comes to expectations, you were poo-pooed on because you wanted 60 frames on the most powerful console in the world.
You're my number one customer.
And it wasn't a console limitation, like Phil said right there. Then why wasn't it there? You said it's division. You gave the control to Bethesda. You decide, Bethesda. Creative decision. Todd Howard doubled down. I don't want to lose that fidelity. What changed? 7 months later, you're willing to lose that fidelity? Scale it down? Take the crowds down? Take the lighting down? Remember? That's what they said. What did they say? Where's that Starfield update? I'll go find it. What they're actually reducing. Where is that? There it is right here. This is what they're willing to do. Oh, what happened? Well, they added maps, right? They added the maps finally to the cities. Xbox displays, right? We've heard from many that you like to have more control over the graphical fidelity and performance on Xbox. Similar to how PC players can customize their experience. We're now enabling on the Series X with a few options that you can use to bet fit your playstyle. We highly recommend VRR display running. Now, we'll see how effective this runs, but the fact that the option is there, and it took 7 months for this option to be existing, because it doesn't sound like this option is really, you know, it sounds kind of like unhinged in the sense like, hey, just 30, 40, 60, or uncapped. But do it on, and then you keep saying VRR displays, variable, because they probably know that the frame rate's going to be all over the friggin' place. And if you don't have a VRR, this thing's going to be screen tearing all over the friggin' place. That's probably why they doubled down on this. You got to use a VRR display for this. See, it says if you don't have a VRR, you'll still be able to select 30 or 60. They say right here, screen tearing may occur at times when selecting 60 on a non-VRR display. Dude, this shit's all over the place. It's not even locked at 60. So why did it take so long for them to do this? I don't know. Craziness. Craziness. But there it is. And that is just, you know, if you go look on the website, dude, there's a litany. If you just go like, why Starfield's 30 frames, the list. Starfield locked at 30. Starfield locked at 30 isn't a problem. You are. Starfield may be locked at 30. Starfield's cap best explained by a big pile of sandwiches. Starfield 30 frames, space sandwiches. Starfield 30 frames backlash is exaggerated. Starfield boss explains why Xbox is locked. Why Starfield might make sense on console. Woo! It goes on and on and on and on. Siru, thank you so much, man. He goes, was the ZeniMax purchase the real end of the Xbox? That Redfall Starfield 1-2 punch knocked Xbox on its ass. You know, it really did. You know, one of the points, just to ask what Siru was saying, thank you again. Well, what he's saying there is, you know, it's very interesting because they show these, the financial increases with the Activision Blizzard deal and how it just kind of like gave them 40% increase, but they never had that kind of growth discussion before and after Bethesda. Isn't that very interesting? The June 13 ops. That's right, Don John. And now they're going to add vehicle. They're going to add the land vehicle. Dude, this game came out September. We are in May. You've been doing betterment on life improvements since September. And Todd Howard's biggest thing was that there were no bugs in the game. Wait, just to kind of give you a little sense of what their perspective was. Here, I'm going to continue to hit play on this incredible interview. Listen to what their expectations are and tell me if this is a game of the generation expectation. Listen to this.
It's a creative decision.
Halo 120.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And,
Wait, watch what the booty says.
I trust what BGS, the decisions they make, and I trust what I'm playing. And we've handed the controller on a console to people here and had them play. Done the same thing with Forza. And I don't ever want us to turn playing games into a math
Okay,
exercise.
and now watch what the booty says.
That as players, we say, hey, you know, if the song doesn't have this number of tracks or the game, and I'm not saying that 60 or resolution don't impact what you play, but I don't think we want that to turn into an Excel thing.
Right.
I think you want to give the creatives the tools to make the best decisions, and the game will be what it is. I think Starfield's going to be a great game, and I love the reception.
And what booty says
today, and I don't want to kind of force specs on every game before they start.
We heard you, Phil.
Kind of diverting back to the question before this, you talked about, like, you know, showing the games that you're planning to have out Does the absence of a game in this showcase mean that it's not in your timeline for the foreseeable future? Something like Perfect Dark, we haven't seen for a while. Does that mean that it's not factored into the upcoming the year, or is it something that you're like, oh, we just don't want to show it right now, but it could still show up soon?
No, I mean, we've got a show. We have different beats through the year. We got to pick what we're going to show where, when it's the right time.
Well, never the right time. Perfect Dark.
I was talking to Daryl Gallagher, the studio head for Perfect Dark, and he and I joke around a lot. We've been talking a lot, and he goes, today I got to watch the show as a fan because he hadn't been part of the process, and he goes, and I think that if I don't stay on schedule next year, I will definitely be watching it.
That's right, Siru. That's right, Siru.
A little extreme.
Get ready for
That's
next year.
not the way we manage teams, but he gets that. All the teams, believe me, they know when they are up next, and we've already, like Aaron and I have even had conversations about like what does this show look like next year, and what's going to be there, and who's going to be ready. How do we feel about that? So I wouldn't read anything into what's not here. And remember, we've got Gamescom, we've got the Game Awards, we've got...
Well, Perfect Dark wasn't in any of those, so enough of the booty hole.
Yeah, the thing I would say, I think your question is a great one.
Where's Perfect Dark?
When we sat back and looked at this show, and then looked at next year's show, and even looked at next year's show, and like all of it's kind of wrong, but we were very confident in the portfolio that was coming. And I'm usually not the beat my chest person. I'm still not trying to do that. But in some ways it was kind of inevitable for us that after a slow 2022,
right.
We've got over 20 studios when you think about the ZeniMax acquisition, the acquisitions prior, and the teams that were already there, that at some point, unless both of us need to lose our jobs, and I've been Twitter fired a lot in the last month, that we were going to hit our stride and be in just a great rhythm of shipping games. And when I looked forward, and I had complete confidence in what the team's doing, and very excited about the things that we haven't shown.
I think the thing that will get a response, and it will be, we always hear wait till next year. I mean, what do you say to someone who's like, we've heard this dance before?
I'll just say that Starfield shipping in September, that
You won't need
Forza
anything
shipping in
else.
October, that Hi-Fi Rush shipped in January, that
Legends
H2 Legend, there is a Redfall thing that I'm not going to avoid, that creates a mark for us, but I don't think it's fair to say we haven't shipped a game this year. I don't think that's right. I think we're going to close the year very strong, both relative to us and even relative to competition. I feel good, and then when I get into next year,
competition,
I feel equally strong about what we're going to do. But I get the after 2021, wait on 20.
He feels better with the competition. Mm-mm. Was that frosted glass room open right now? Was he having the frosted glass installed at this time? He felt so confident, better than the competition. Man, he said Starfield matches up to Spider-Man. That's what he just said right there. Relative to what the competition had. I don't beat my chest, he said.
2022, that's what I say. We have to earn it.
Right.
But I think Starfield and Forza are going to be great big releases this year.
Well, I mean, as well.
Oh, man. Not like this, Phil.
Wait, just wait till E3, there will be a showcase, but I can't wait when all our games need help. Bootleg Studios helping with Perfect Dark.
As Phil will always point out, things they don't slip early. Right? So as things slip and moves, a lot of that collision takes care of itself.
Wouldn't it be nice if they did?
It would.
Man, that was some Phil Ness to end on that one. But yeah, and actually in this also interview, Booty says that Bethesda, when he played the game, it was shipping. He said it was the least amount of bugs he's experienced in a Bethesda game. That was the line that I think it was right before that. If I'm not gonna go back, but yeah, look at this. That was their expectation for the game of the generation. It shipped with less bugs than the previous one. My goodness, that was his anticipation for the game. But you heard that, man. He was confident in Starfield and Forza, and guess what? They didn't do what they needed to do, and that's why that competition that he was saying I feel good about became their friends, their saviors. And that's what I mean. Like, this is how he was talking last year. You came into that February Xbox deal going, well, we need to put games over there. Like, it just completely deflated everything. And we'll talk about the showcase coming up this year in the next Grinds Bite. But, this whole Activision thing, this whole Starfield thing, that capping on June 13th and June 14th of last year, but people didn't even play the game, that was some marketing media bull. The capping with the media. And I said it's not the fans. It was the media making excuses. And now look at them. Performance mode on the Series X, but it's not a console limitation. Then why is it not on the S? And if this was the vision, the fidelity needed to be there, then why would you waste time doing a performance mode? Because you heard the people? Dude, if you were listening, they went crazy about Redfall. I wouldn't ship another game at 30 frames after that crazy response that you got from Redfall. Redfall at 30 frames? How can you look in the camera and go, yeah, well, I'm shipping Hellblade 2 and Starfield at 30 frames too? You didn't go back to there going, yo, you got to get performance modes. If it's not ready for launch, get it ready within the next few weeks. Like, if I was managing that thing and I saw that situation, I'm like, we're not having another Redfall. We're not making this game 30 frames. Like, you got to go. We need to have an option. Make it unlock frame rate. Do something. Do something.
Prepare ship.
Do something. After I saw how that Redfall, he had to go take it on the chin.
Helmet, what's going on? Sanders, what's going on? It's Mega Maid. She's gone from suck to
I would have
blow.
walked in like this.
What? They're getting all their air back. Do something. Do something. Do something. Stop it.
That's what I would do. But now you're doing it with Hellblade 2. That's par for the course. Well, Grinders, I want to thank you for this impromptu gaming Grinds Bite. Hit that like button. Definitely for the members, we're gonna be doing an Ask Grindhouse for the members. So if you want to upgrade or be a VIP or Ultimate Grinder, feel free to do that. And definitely hit that like button and subscribe to the Gaming Grindhouse if you have not yet. And I'm gonna leave you with these also too, Ultimate Grinders. These are the kind of songs you get with incredible music videos. Day one from the Gaming Grindhouse Grinds Pass. But have a good night, everybody. Keep it locked here to the Gaming Grindhouse. Subscribe. Check out those shorts. We're out.
And stories are told.
That frosted glass room. Who's that man in the silhouette? Why does it smell like the ocean? Whose yacht is in my parking lot?
Frosted glass room, and that booty is not.
Here's our frosted glass room right here, baby. VIP Grinders. Thanks again, Grinders. Hit that like button.